know what it is. You know how we do. Big kitchen.
Big
You
kitchen,
know
big
what it.
talk.
You know what it is. You know how we do. Big kitchen talk. Big vibes. It is not a cooking show. It is not a love show, but it is a show that we have real talk. Big shout out to Holloman Rock. Big shout out to my girl Georgie, aka your favorite tomboy. Are you the favorite tomboy or the favorite tomboy? Free Ricky until they free Ricky. I'm your boy Maino. You already know Lobby Boys. We in the building, and we got a special show today, man. I'm excited though, cause we got somebody that I definitely got a lot of respect for. He's somebody that you know I listen to him speak. Not only that, but we can go back to very long time ago. Listen to him, with the brand Nubians and stuff like that. The one and only Lord Jamar, man. Welcome, brother.
Peace, peace.
Welcome, man. Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you for
How you
having me,
been?
man. I'm great. I'm
How
great.
you been, man? Things been good.
No doubt, no
Things
doubt.
been good. You know, like for the last recent, like the last couple of years, I've been used to seeing you on Vlad,
Right,
and I've been used to hearing your opinion on a lot of different things. That stopped.
right.
What? Why?
I mean, at the time, you know, Vlad, we all know Vlad is a
Right.
white dude
Right.
who is in a black space.
Right.
And so a situation came where one of our black leaders that we all know and love and revere, the minister Louis Farrakhan,
Yeah.
had said a comment that Vlad misinterpreted what he was saying and reported it wrong.
Indeed.
And then when he found out he was wrong, instead of apologizing for what he did, he had personal feelings that he was harboring towards Farrakhan anyway, even though this man, he's Jewish, but he claims he's not a practicing Jew. But then when it's time to side with some Jewish shit,
Right.
It shows up.
here we are. Yeah, now all of a sudden. So we was like, bro, you're going to have to, you know what I mean? Apologize to the minister type of shit. Like my people's coming, you know what I mean? Like, you want to stand on code with your people, what I got to be on code with my people. So either you apologize or we can't fuck with you. You know what I mean? Me and my man Garvin came in solidarity on that.
Right.
We was two of his biggest interviewees as far as every time we was on this shit. We get mad views and all that type of shit. And we was just like, yo, do it or we not fucking with you. And this is a nigga that claim, he's your friend or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you my man and all that, I'm asking you to do this, like, yo, this is not culturally appropriate and all of that in this culture that you're benefiting off of. And he was just like, nah, fuck that.
Oh, he didn't want to apologize.
Nah, he didn't want to apologize. He's like, y'all could not come on if you want. Like, I'll be all right type of shit. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And so we was like, all right, fuck you then.
Wow.
You know what I
And
mean?
he's done a lot of culture vulturation since then, I guess.
I mean, basically, when we put the word out, stop fucking with them. But people still be going up there. It is what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
whatever they feel they benefiting from it. But,
Right. I mean, look, sometimes we all have a difference in opinions. You know what I mean? I guess his opinion was different.
Right. But there's a certain respect that you got to have when you come in someone's home. Right? You ask people to put, you know what I mean?
That's right,
Shit on
that's
their
right.
sneakers and
Right,
all that
right,
when they
right,
walk through your home.
right.
Because this is your home.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So when you walking through the house of hip hop, and I'm known for saying who's a guest in the house of hip hop and all that type of shit, because we black people created hip hop.
The house of hip hop.
Huh? Yes.
The house of hip hop.
That's right.
You are a legend in hip hop. One for all. All for one. Shit, we just did that the other day. Me and Jim. I don't know if you
Matter
remember
of fact, I heard it on the. I need to hear the record
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
got a call and I
Yeah.
can't find the record. I
Yeah.
can't find it on the
because
internet.
you can't find. It's not on internet. What happened was, shout out to Swiss. Swiss Beats called me and was like, he got this thing going on with Flex every Thursday. So he was like, yo, listen, I need the Lobby Boys. And he sent me the beat, and it was one for all. Now I called him back and told him, not because you sitting here. On that album, that was my favorite song.
That was one of my favorites too.
That was my favorite song. It was just something about that song that spoke to me. One for all for one. And I used to ride with my dogs. It was like, we all for one, all for one.
Facts.
You know what I mean? One for all. And that kind of mantra, you know, had us going. You know what I mean? And you know it's crazy because when I think about the brand Nubians and I think about, it wasn't until years later that I really understood some of the jewels that y'all was getting.
Right.
Was listening, but not really hearing.
Right.
One for all for one, but not really hearing the jewels. You know? As a legend in hip hop, right? There's a lot of talk, you know, about, you know, the OGs, the young generation, and it always seems to be a disconnect between the older generation and the younger ones. You one of the few that's been very visible. You acting, commenting, you've been in movies, you've been in television. How have you been able to maintain, you know, these eras when so many haven't?
Right. I mean, I think you always hear about people that say they have to reinvent themselves or whatever. And I don't know if it's fully reinventing yourself. Like, I'm not trying to be a different person every time. But I think you got to be able to have different interests and be able to be brave enough to step into different arenas that you might not be known for stepping in. You know what I mean? And if you have that confidence and you're able to shine, you know, people appreciate that.
They appreciate
the
that.
knowledge.
I also believe that with reinventing yourself comes being able to adjust to the times. And I think a lot of people can't adjust to the times. They get caught in a bubble of like what they do or how they did it. They don't want to change for it.
Right.
And I think that's probably why you're so great at just beating and persevering through the different times that we've come to. So with that, did you see yourself being this far in, like, in having this longevity?
Honestly, yeah. Like I don't know. I just always felt like I was gonna be somebody that was
chosen one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like one of these niggas that's gonna go down in history for different shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like I'm gonna be appreciated more after I'm gone than even.
But that's how it always is.
Here. Yeah.
That's how it always
for certain
is.
people, it is like that.
It's mostly that way. Question though, right? And this brings me, you know, to, you know, as far as the legends and the house of hip hop, you know, there's always, you know, talk about the older generation maybe not being able to connect or appreciate the newer generation. Now, recently, academics came under some fire, you know, for lack of better words, for some of the things that he had to say about, you know, older generation of hip hop. And I think his tone was, you know, yo, how you guys, you know, created hip hop, you look dusty, you're not getting no money. You know, I'm paraphrasing, I don't really know.
Right.
And I seen LL, you know, he said something that was very eloquent. You know, he was just like, a lot of the guys that, you know, paved the way for hip hop didn't get a lot of the big money.
Because there was no
right,
money in the beginning.
He said that.
It was just for the love of it.
Right. But which helped the newer generation be in position to earn money.
You're
because
standing on their backs.
Right. So what do you feel about his statements though?
I mean, I think it's part of that disconnect that you're talking about with the younger generation and the older generation. Like, he's just a reflection of how a lot of young dudes feel. Like, he's not the only one. Like, I think they purposely have set up this this opposition between the older and the younger, but only in hip hop.
Right.
Because in rock and roll, they revere their people and
the legends,
you know,
and
the young dudes
and
will sit down
Right.
and listen at the
Right.
feet of the old niggas.
Right.
Like, but in hip hop, they've put in this message where, I ain't listen to y'all old niggas. Y'all niggas is old.
Right.
Like y'all niggas is, you know what I mean?
Right.
I ain't fuck with y'all no more. Y'all ain't getting no money. I'm getting more money than you. As if money equates to intelligence. I know plenty of niggas with money that's dumb as rocks, yo. They just was in the right place at the right fucking time.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you just showed up and you got some money, that don't make you a fucking genius, that don't make you somebody. You know, a nigga growing up in the hood, there's plenty of bum ass niggas
Indeed.
that got mad knowledge.
Right.
And you would never know.
Right.
Those be the ones, though.
What? Those be the one outside the store. If you just sit and talk to him for a minute, what?
Right. You can
You
learn
will
something.
learn some shit that a nigga with money will never tell you. So the people with money are not necessarily our greatest thinkers and all of that. Like, why are we acting like, you know, having money is good? I mean, you need to have it. It helps you have options. You know what I mean?
But don't equate the value of like the older generation with the money, because it wasn't for that at that point.
They didn't know.
Right.
Yeah.
It was.
They were just
It
building
was
this thing
not,
out.
but it was not.
Yeah, it wasn't
It
nothing, right? It was
the
nothing.
business wasn't built yet. It wasn't no multi-million dollar deals yet.
First
It
of all, they
wasn't-
was hating on hip hop so
Right.
hard. They
Right.
didn't want this shit to even last. They tried
Right.
to act like it was gonna only be around for a little while. And trust me, like this was nigga music. Like everybody, white people, everybody was appalled to even, oh, you fuck with that? Now they want to act like, oh, this is all
It's
of our
embedded
shit.
in everything.
This is all of
It started
hip
in
hop
the
is
apartment.
universal.
It started with people just being creative. It wasn't like monetized or nothing
And
like
telling
that.
their
It was
story.
Like, no, right,
Yeah.
they're telling their story.
Well, the basement implies that you live in a house. It really started in like outside of the
Right.
park or like in the rec center of the fucking projects and
Yeah.
shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So is it a money disconnect, or is it a time difference? Meaning, are the younger ones saying, man, I ain't fucking with that, them niggas is too old. Or the older ones saying, man, I don't understand that shit. Back when we had it back in the days, we did it like this.
I think it's both. It's a combination of both. You got old school niggas that's refusing to like try even appreciate anything that's going on in the new school. See, I'm the type, if it's good,
It's good.
I'm fucking with it.
Right.
I don't care if you're young, old.
Right.
If it's dope, if I could feel it, if it touched something inside me, then I'm fucking with it. I don't care how old you are. And I've discovered, you know, new rappers as recent as somebody like Stove God Cooks. Like that's
okay,
somebody that I brought into the game.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it ain't like my ear is just on some old school
Right,
shit.
right.
Like, you know
But
what I mean?
I think that's a sort of a wrong perception of older dudes only thinking old school, only seeing things from that perspective. I think that's kind of like a wrong.
Right. Well, see, what happens is a lot of bullshit comes into the mix.
Right.
And then the mainstream will like the bullshit. And then we won't fuck with the bullshit. And then people's wondering, like, why are you not fucking with it? Everybody else like it. And it's like, hold up, we have a little more, with some of this shit, we got a little more sense than to just go with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like how everybody's going with it. And for some people, that seems like, oh, them niggas is hating. They don't want to.
That's the constant.
They don't
thing.
want to ride with the wave or whatever.
That's
but
the
like,
constant thing, which I think for a lot of it is not accurate, right? I don't think that everybody's just hating. I think some people may not be able to relate, you know, but music is relative, you know. It don't matter how old you are. If it's good, it's good. If some people, it's something new that I might not like, something old that I might not like.
Like for instance, like as a producer, because I produce too. Yo, I love a lot of the new beats, like production wise,
Right.
where production has gone and the
Right.
sonic sound of it and the different techniques. The beats right now is retarded. Trap beats, all of these fucking beats, being able to program them shits the way they're doing is phenomenal. It's just some of the shit that niggas is saying on it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
What are some things that people are saying that you're not supporting right now?
I mean, one of the main ones that I could think of is this broad that just did a remix to the fucking one with it twerking on the car, on the headlights.
Oh.
This bitch talking about, I got murder on my mind.
Ooh.
Talking about going to the abortion clinic and she got murder on her mind.
Who said that?
Some girl. I don't know her name.
We're not talking about Glorilla. No.
Nah, not that she did a remix to that.
Oh,
so it's
wow.
the same beat, and she's like,
So-
I'm ABORTIN again, and she's at the Planned
Wow.
Parenthood in the video,
Oh,
twerking in
wow.
front of Planned Parenthood, and on the part where it's like,
is
let's
that?
go.
Right.
This bitch like, I got murder on my mind. Let's go.
What?
Now come on, yo. Like, that's some bullshit right there. I don't give a fuck how popular that shit get.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking with it. I'm not recommending it to nobody. Like, and you
And
can
it will
call
get
me a
popular.
hating
That's the
ass
crazy
nigga,
part.
Right.
old school nigga if you want to, but I'm not gonna fuck with that.
Yeah, I don't think it's about school. I think it's about the air. Like, you know what I mean?
That shit crazy.
Hip hop going on its 50th year. Is it a young man's game?
Here's the thing. It definitely started
Right,
as a young man's game.
Right.
This was a teenager's
right,
music.
right,
But as those teenagers grew up,
right.
for some of us, the skill set didn't leave.
Right,
So now what do?
right,
I think a lot of genres grow as the artists grow. Again, we got to go back to rock and roll and shit like that. Mick Jagger and all of them was fucking kids when they started. And now these niggas are still doing tours at 70-something years old, selling
Doing the
out
same thing.
and all of that type of shit. So is rock and roll a young person's music? Again, it started that way. I don't think you could put hip hop in that box. See, hip hop if hip hop really is universal,
right.
then it's going to transcend age as well as
That's right.
race.
So this is what I say to that, right? It's simple math, right? 25 years ago, you didn't have 30, 40-year-old rappers because the culture wasn't old enough, right? So the fan that bought DMX album in 98, Cameron's album in 98, I think, Jay-Z, Hard Knock Life, Big Pun, those albums like that era right there, going to 98, 99. If that fan was 25 back then, what is he now?
Right.
He's 40 now.
40 something.
And
Right.
still needs
Well,
music to listen
40
to.
something now, right? So what I'm saying is that fan didn't stop being a fan of hip hop.
Exactly.
All he did was just get older. He's still a fan of hip hop.
Speak on it,
so
Garv.
the culture is getting older. So now it enables the artist to be older. You couldn't have a 40-year-old rapper in 1990. It's impossible because our mothers was that age.
Let me also say that being from that hip hop generation, I feel like the grown-ups that came out of that are more cooler than any grown-ups that ever existed ever.
Right, because now you have because look,
That's why we could still do it.
and listen, this is the first time because you got to think, hip hop came out in early 70s, late 80s is when it got on. You correct me if I'm wrong. Late 80s, early 80s is when it got on vinyl, right? The mothers of that of these kids who listen to disco and other type of music, they didn't relate. This is the first time where you had a father who grew up on hip hop, his son grew up on hip hop, and maybe his baby is listening to hip hop right now. You got 3 generations right now. This is the first time that happened. It is actually happening. Like you can get in the car. My son is 20 years old. He'll be 20. We listen to hip hop all day long.
And there's new songs that I like, and there's old songs that he likes.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And we all coming together on this hip hop shit. multi-generational.
Right.
So what the fuck are y'all talking about?
Right.
Like,
Dad played, like my dad, he used to rap back in the
Right.
day.
Right.
So he still have old like tapes, cassette
Right.
tapes that he put on his iPod or whatever from when he used to do shows, and they used to record them like in the community centers
Right.
and stuff like that. He still plays them in the car
Right.
for me, like to this day.
Right.
Like, so I get what you're saying. You know, it's kind of like they teach us about what was going on when they were younger, and we're teaching them about what's going on now. So it's kind of like a cycle.
Right, but see, but the thing is that the artists don't have to stop working though, right?
Yeah,
so it's not.
no.
So the thing, it's like it's not like it's sports,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you have and I heard Dave Chappelle say this. He said, "Man, you know, I got friends as athletes, man, and I feel for them because they only have maybe a 5-10 year window to be great,
right.
and after that, your legs, your knees, whatever, you know, whatever's going on physically. But when it comes to being an artist and being creative, there's no timeline on that. It's limitless because the power is from your mind, right? You can't
And from
tell
your
a
voice.
painter he has to be a certain age or he's over or underqualified because of a certain age, right? It's art. He still can do what he can do, you know, whether he's learned how to paint when he was 16 or he's 60.
See, any other profession though, you're revered for having
Right.
30 years in. Yo, he's
Right.
30 years doing this.
Right.
Like, and so now you want to listen to everything they saying and that. But when
Right.
it comes to this hip hop, oh, they've been doing
It's
it
like, oh, he's still
30
relevant
years.
after 30
Like,
years.
really?
Surprise.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
like they just, it's this bullshit. It's this bullshit message that they send only to black people.
But
The same type of
Right.
bullshit message they send to I'm an independent black woman. They don't send that message nobody. You know, I'm an independent white woman. I'm an independent Chinese woman. You never heard that shit. You only hear I'm an independent black woman. Fucking you only hear rappers, you know, is too old to rap and shit. You only hear that in our, where does that shit even come from?
So you think it's a setup?
Of course it's a fucking setup. Somebody's injecting that into the fucking lexicon, into the culture, and trying to puppet master some shit from behind the scenes. And if we keep falling for it, you know what another thing they're trying to do? And I just thought about this earlier today. When people say, fuck boy, yo, that's trying to introduce some pedophilia shit. What the hell is a fuck boy? Who fucks boys? You know what I mean? Except pedophiles. Like for real, but they want to get you comfortable saying that shit. They want to
And
get
meaning
you
the words do
comfortable
change
saying
too,
that shit.
yeah.
Just like I never liked all that poor shit.
Yeah.
I never liked that.
Right.
You know why? Because they're trying to make niggas think about gay shit. Back in the days, you say hip hop, yo, that song is hard. Yo, that shit's hard. Now when you say, yo, that's hard, nigga, pause. Why?
Right.
You the one thinking about
Thinking.
some gay
Right,
shit
right,
or whatever.
right.
I'm just talking like a man.
Right.
Like
I have
what
a
the
question. You did once say that like there's no space in hip hop for gays, or
facts.
you still feel that way?
Why do you feel that way?
Because that's not hip hop.
What
That's
is-
not heterosexual shit. It's hip hop. Fucking with girls. You know what I mean? That's what the fuck.
So, but it could
That's all we
transcend
wanted to do
age
with-
and everything else, time, but not sexuality.
Because I mean they're trying to make it do that, but the essence of hip hop is totally not about that. This is a music started by alpha males. Alpha male. These niggas was gangsters. This came out of the Black Spades and shit like that. Okay? Like this ain't for fucking soft motherfuckers. And soft niggas wasn't running shit in the beginning of hip hop. Only later on soft niggas started running shit.
But they do say that there was a lot of things going on behind the closed doors.
Right.
Even in the beginning of hip hop, you know.
And
talking
behind
about-
closed doors means that it wasn't accepted, so you had to do it behind closed doors. If niggas would have came out on the mic and was like, yo, I'm fucking with these little boys, say ho, this shit would have never went nowhere.
Indeed. So what's your
Not
what's
saying
your
ho.
So what is your feelings on African Bambaataa?
Listen, if he did that shit, he's foul.
Mm.
Period. Now, did he help to promote a culture and all of that? You see what I'm saying? People can have foul shit and then do good shit too. That's not the whole dimension of who you are. R. Kelly did some foul shit, but you can't tell me he's not one of the greatest fucking R&B singers of all time.
But I'm just being devil's advocate. So it's cool. It's cool to do, like you said, you against the gays in hip hop, right? So now it is alleged that African Bambaataa had touched on boys, had some foul shit going on, right? So it's cool as long as it was.
No, I'm not saying that it's cool. Right. What I'm saying is the reason why they was keeping it behind closed doors is because it wasn't accepted in hip hop culture. And so if that's some shit that he was doing personally, that doesn't mean it was part of hip hop culture. He was just somebody in hip hop that was doing some foul shit on the side. There's plenty of niggas that was in hip hop doing all kinds of shit. So but that doesn't mean the foul shit that they was doing is okay just because we don't know about it. It's not okay.
But some people will argue that the platform or the culture was created to express yourself and tell your story. So,
but it was also created to tell your story, your survival stories, or
of alpha males from New York.
About alpha males.
It was alpha males telling their story about how they was getting broads, riding in OJs, fucking shit like that. You know what I mean? It was no fucking what?
When you think about it, that's what our toxic masculinity was in there. But when you think about it, that's what R&B
First of all, that's a bullshit word. Toxic masculinity.
Talk about
it. Bullshit.
What is it?
It's a bullshit way to try to discredit just being a man.
First of all, what's the definition of
this is some white fucking feminist bullshit. What's the definition of that? Go ahead.
I don't know the actual definition.
But you just used it.
When masculinity is used to undermine or devalue other groups. So I feel like it's.
Give me an example of that, because I'm lost on that one. I don't know what that word. That's a new word.
Guys can be hoes all they want, and then girls, if they're a hoe, it's like they get.
Because it's equal is not identical. A woman cannot do what a man does. A man is entering, a woman is getting entered. But then it's two different things.
Okay, but for example, in the workforce, and you can give the same example. It's like women were always put down.
Now that's some bullshit, right? But that's more part of white supremacy than it is masculinity. That's more white masculinity than just masculinity as a whole. See, when y'all say toxic masculinity, you're blanketing all men with that. When
no,
really,
just the toxic ones.
Well, do you have one type of mind? Because when I think of the toxic ones, the ones who really present that toxic shit are white men.
Huh?
Womanizers?
Womanizers.
I mean,
a womanizer is what?
That's a bit of toxic masculinity.
So what's toxic femininity?
There is toxic femininity.
Right. So what is it?
Hold on. Before we get that,
because y'all seem like y'all got this defined, but I'd like to know the definition.
You want to know what a womanizer is?
I bet y'all ain't got the feminist defined so well.
Define that. A womanizer.
A womanizer is somebody who just, I guess, takes abuses women, takes advantage of women, or puts them in these specific lights.
How is that? How you
the disrespect that I maybe call a girl, a woman, a hoe, a bitch, and all of this stuff. But that's toxic. You're demeaning us, but at the same time, you want to love on us.
But if a woman is actually acting like a hoe or a bitch, is that not? And I don't want to get bleak, but is that not like sometimes you gotta call a spade a spade?
But you say it as a whole though. Like you say it as a whole when you.
Well, just the way you said toxic masculinity, I felt like was as a whole.
They both problematic.
But I can't call all women queens because they're not all queens.
We can't call all men toxic because they're not all toxic. Right, or kings. Like it's all individualistic, right? Or as the person, but when you speak in music and stuff like that, you be like a bitch did this or a hoe did that because these hoes this or these hoes with a hoe.
But you talking specifically
right?
about who you're talking about. You know who you're talking
But
about.
when you say where the hoes at, you speaking specifically for hoes. Who are the hoes? You might think that she a hoe and she's not. You get what I'm saying?
You pretty much know who you're
But
talking
why would I be fooled by that? See, Dave Chappelle said, you know, if you dress like a police officer and I come up to you for help and you're like, oh no, I'm not a police officer. You know what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. So if you're dressed like a whore,
Right.
and I fucking
but if it's
start talking
glamorized-
to you like a whore, and then you're like, oh,
But
I'm
it's
not a whore.
Hold on.
I'm not a whore. I'm just dressing to
Hold on. What do
But it's
whores
also-
dress like though? What do whores dress? What do whores dress like?
You know what they dress like.
But maybe there's a thin line, right? Because you got some women that feel like I should be able to wear this crop top. I should be able to show cleavage.
But that,
I should
but,
be
and
able to-
then, but
is
that,
that a whore dress code?
It could be because every action has a reaction. So yes, ma'am, you can wear whatever you want, but there's gonna be a reaction for what you do.
All right, so I got it.
None of these women have horse shit on that I see right now.
But
Okay.
what if a man tries to talk to a woman?
Huh?
A man tries to talk to a woman. Nope, and this has happened to me.
Okay.
Like, a man tries to talk to a woman.
And then you don't give him
say,
no rap.
Thank you, no rap. Well,
And
fuck
he's
you then,
disrespectful.
bitch.
Right, that's bullshit.
That's
not
toxic
cool.
masculinity.
Okay.
Fuck you,
All
then,
right.
bitch. Like I ain't because you
That's
feel-
toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Okay. But
it comes from the thought that
but how
It
Well,
comes from the
I
thought
don't know,
that,
as a woman. I
that
don't know how
everything revolves
often that
around the
happens.
alpha male. That's what the thought comes from. It's like, as long as it works for the alpha male, it's good. Like, it's good. So that's why I brought
Maybe
it up.
that's
I brought
just
it up.
him, that person that just did that.
There's a lot.
Maybe
No,
that's just who
But
he
that's
is.
that's a thing that happens
Right,
often.
but
here's the thing.
maybe that's just those people.
These same
they're toxic males,
these
but they're
same toxic
glamorized and
males are
glorified.
the same niggas you're gonna call if you need help.
Uh-oh.
If a motherfucker's attacking you and all this type of shit, you need somebody to defend you. You're gonna be going for the alpha males, not the beta males.
Not all alphas are toxic. I don't.
Yeah, nobody said that.
But when I first said alpha, the word
She said, "What about toxic masculinity?"
okay, but I feel like alpha brought that out. Like when I said
No,
alpha,
only because you said that the culture should cater to
What
just
alpha
them.
really is. There are men who use it and they really don't understand what that term means. They think that it comes with certain characteristics that might not be those characteristics.
I hear you.
Including toxic masculinity. But you don't have to be.
But I'm not one of those
Yeah,
men.
I can tell.
Yeah, they're
I
not one and the
understand.
same. But why it was brought up is that you said that the alpha male, like the culture
This
should
was
revolve
started-
around what the alpha males
because it was
expression
started
and-
by alpha males.
Right.
Therefore,
So that's
if
y'all
an
turf.
alpha male
Right.
is not agreeable with homosexuality in the culture that he's created for himself, he has a right to feel that way. This is the last bastion of masculinity. Can we not have
Let's
anything?
have that. Let us have
Can
that.
we not have anything?
So do you think female rap is taking over right now, or you don't even want to admit to that?
I don't think it's taking over. I think it's, females are having their time
moment.
in corporate rap right now. But at the end of the day, again, and y'all can feel like I'm a misogynist or some shit, but I feel like hip hop, again, is more masculine orientated. You know what I mean? Like the themes and just the whole energy of it is more masculine. I feel like R&B is the more female energy. You know what I mean?
Softer.
You sing
So you
about
don't think
love, even regardless who's doing it.
But when
Right.
you think about it, that does make sense because back in the day where we had female rappers, they all came off kind of masculine. They didn't come off sexy and everything. They were cute,
And-
they were like tomboys or they were, they had like a little rough edge around.
And how many hip hop jams you been to where they playing all this hard shit and then the DJ go, all right, ladies, we're gonna play some shit for you now.
But I think
Right? Right? Because all that hard shit is for the dudes.
So
Well, we
is
could be
hip hop
hard, too.
only hard? Is hip hop
We don't
only?
want y'all to be hard. That's the thing.
No, I get it. You don't want
I
to
don't want
play
no woman kings.
I do agree that a lot of lines.
Wow.
Now this. You are in your glory.
I'm just sitting here observing.
I just want to ask
He
you one
got
more
it. This
question.
is his show. Yeah. Go.
So you feel like all these lines are being blurred on purpose? Because back to that point.
Absolutely. You don't remember back in the 80s when they were like promoting? Okay. No, I'm sorry for even. Listen, well, back in the
have an
80s,
old
there was
spirit.
like, they were trying to promote a lot of androgynous singers and
Yes.
shit like that. Androgynous, for y'all don't know, means like a blur between male and female. You're not sure what the hell they are.
Right.
Like, this has been a long-term goal for some shit that they trying to get to. Like, they've been trying to get to this place of the little Nas X's and all.
Well, they have arrived.
Yeah, they've arrived. Like
Big time.
Big time. I just saw a Coach ad that this guy's in now. Like, he's
Everywhere.
I don't want to talk about it, but
But
I like him too.
So,
but it does feel like a little bit of an imbalance. Considering what you said.
It seems like there was an agenda, but let me ask you, is it hip hop a reflection of society? Because when you look outside, you know, you see the movements, the LGBTQ movement become bigger. You see a lot of things more accepted. You look at popular culture, you see the movies, you know, you see shows, there's, you know, man on man scenes, woman on woman scenes.
And none of that is organic.
But is that, so is hip hop a reflection of just society as a whole?
Hip hop is now a reflection of the corporate ideals that are being pushed in the media. So all of those things you said are media outlets, and hip hop has been taken over by the corporate structure. And so whatever the corporation is pushing at the time, that's what hip hop is going to push now.
But do we consider that hip?
And mainstream hip hop.
So,
because again, we're putting a blanket on, just like we said with the Toxic Magazine, we're putting a blanket on what hip hop is. We're thinking of, you know, if it's heard on the radio or you see in the video or if it's on the BET Award. But there's plenty of hip hop out there that you don't get to see, that you don't hear on the mainstream radio, that's way more valid, you know, that appeals to people like me more than, you know, a lot of this mainstream shit.
But they don't get no visibility.
But outside of just entertainment, right? It's nothing to come out and walk down the street of Manhattan and see two men holding hands. And, you know, anywhere you go to in the country, you see images that you didn't see. And I'm talking about outside of entertainment. Even in schools, like you see two mothers together dropping their son or daughter off, right? So what I'm trying to say is that is hip hop just responding to a bigger societal, for lack of better words, society is evolving, and hip hop is evolving with it.
I don't like the word evolving. I'll say shifting. You know what I mean? Because that's a whole nother topic. Evolution is some bullshit.
Right.
No fucking species turns into another species. But anyway, it's definitely a reflection of where they're trying to lead the society. Yes, hip hop is, instead of being the more rebellious music that it used to be, where I'm not going down the road of mainstream, hip hop has now been co-opted to where, yes, it's going to do whatever popular culture is doing. So if popular culture is accepting, you know, two moms dropping their kids off, then we're going to hear about that in hip hop. You know what I mean? If popular culture is you know, accepting the bing bing boom in your arm, then you're going to have people like, you know, DMC talking about, you know, I trust the shit and you should trust it.
Oh, really?
You know, oh yeah, you didn't see?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh man, it was horrible. It was.
For the
I
vaccine.
saw that.
I got the vaccine. You get the vaccine.
Oh, there was a song?
Yes.
What?
There was a song?
No, there was a song.
No, it's actually
There was a jingle?
It was a cartoon video. He said, if Doc says it's good and trust me it's good, go get it.
These are the words.
Pretty much.
I'm pretty much not paraphrasing. but
DMC,
kinda.
legendary DMC from Run DMC.
DMC, the legendary DMC, who's also pissing me off because as a legendary rapper, why the fuck you always wear? I'm sorry, damn. Why you keep wearing rock and roll shirts? Nah, hold up. You're a hip hop pioneer.
Right.
Like you need to be wearing old school hip hop. You know who wears a lot of old school hip hop shirts? Eminem.
Eminem's a clone though.
Eminem.
A what?
A clone.
He's a clone?
Listen.
Hold on. What do you mean? A clone?
This is not the same Eminem that I know.
So you serious or you just joking?
No, I really truly believe he's a clone.
And do you know him personally?
I just feel like we haven't heard him speak in a really long time, and he don't look the same. And I don't want to divert from this conversation.
No.
Don't get me started.
This is one big conversation. I'm just trying to get started because I need to understand.
No, I really feel that way.
I don't have all the answers out there.
I don't either. I
do
believe cloning is real.
So you believe that that's not
him. That's
him. That's somebody else. And you base your opinion based off of him you not hearing him speak.
He don't look the same. He don't talk.
He grew his beard. He older. What do you mean?
He don't.
No, he looked like an NFT or something. I think that's a clone.
You think
It could be an unpopular opinion. I truly believe this. I'm not joking.
who else you think is a clone?
Who else do I think is a clone?
Because it was a whole big rumor, the whole big thing about Gucci being a clone. You thought that too?
Nah, I really didn't. I think he was just evolving as a person or transforming.
I think Biden might be a clone.
He's a robot. Yeah.
Biden might be a fucking.
That
He
always
be
have his
glitching.
buttons on.
Might be a clone.
He's glitching.
Yeah, he need to get him together though, because he's going right when he's supposed to go left. He's falling off the bike when it's parked.
All of that. He's
Like
glitching out.
yeah, he's talking to people. His hand is up when it's not supposed to be. Like this
Some
guy's crazy.
wrong ass.
That was wild.
kids.
But whoa. Okay,
Don't get me started. I'm really like a conspiracy theorist.
is that so?
Very much so.
Heard you. But DMC.
Yeah. Represent hip hop, man. That's all
Represent
I'm saying.
hip-hop.
Stop wearing these rock and roll shirts.
But black people started
All
rock
this.
too.
Yeah, but he's wearing like white rock and roll shirts,
Right.
like Judas Priest and AC/DC and
Is
Led
that,
Zeppelin.
is that the music that he listens to?
I don't know.
Maybe that's what inspires you. You know, he's the king
Even
of rock.
if that is,
He is the liar.
yeah, I'm thinking about that, but at the same time, come on, be smarter than that. Like, I feel like you purposely doing that. You purposely, every time I see you got a rock and roll t-shirt, you can't wear a Run DMC t-shirt, LL Cool J, something, old Def Jam jacket, nothing. Like, come on, like, give me something, like, you know what I mean? Like,
think we believe.
And he's the one that was pumping the,
James Brown t-shirt, anything?
Right. Now I follow that. And he's the one that was pumping the whole vaccination.
Crazy.
Vaccine.
Early in the game, too.
I never
like
saw that.
Because it was so corny and it wouldn't have resonated. Like, it didn't do no, he got some free money if he got paid to do that. He got some free money because nobody.
We don't hear about the
nobody was
vaccine
affected
too much
about
no
that.
more. Where you at?
Good. Good. I mean, I didn't take it. I hope nobody takes it.
I can only speak for myself. I didn't, but you know, I don't know about anybody else as far as that. But I'm assuming that you totally disagree with it.
Totally disagree with it. Was ready to do whatever to not fuck with it.
Right. Seems like there's a greater agenda.
Absolutely. Like, cause you know I act and all that, so it's like I was getting auditions during this thing, and it's saying, "Yo, you got to have the vaccine in order to work."
Right.
So I told my manager, like, "Yo, I'm not getting that." So you know what I mean? Let me know. And man, I ain't had no call for an audition since.
How did you? What made you go the acting route?
It was just something I always wanted to do, and I felt like I could do it. I was seeing a lot of rappers who I felt like couldn't really act. And I'm like, how is these dudes getting these parts? How's they getting, you know what I mean? I was like, I could do better than that.
Let me try.
So I was like, yo, let me get in there. But see, nothing happens until you speak it out. You got to say it out loud.
Right.
Because this was in my head for a long time and nothing happened. And it wasn't until I said out loud, yo, I want to do some, you know what I mean? Get me in something.
You haven't been getting no roles lately?
I haven't even had any auditions lately
What?
since I said I wasn't taking a joint. But now recently, I think they sent
They
out
dropped the
a
mandate,
thing. Yeah, they dropped the mandate. So
Mhm.
now maybe they'll start sending me
It
stuff.
would be
again.
tight if I got the vaccine and then they dropped the mandates. Like, I lost my job and this and that.
I'll be honest, I did the Tracy Morgan show like during the joint, and I didn't have to take the joint, but they made me take the test like 3 times in a week. And I'm telling you, yo, my nose felt crazy like for a minute after that.
Right.
Like, I'm telling you the shit, yo. Like to where I don't even want to take the test again. Like,
Right.
and I felt kind of bad that I even did it, but you know.
Some say that they
I
was,
did it.
that even when you was taking the test, they was putting something up there.
Yeah, but I
That's
feel
some of the
like
conspiracy theorists.
right, but I feel like that's something that they really want you to get the jab.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the
Right.
test, I feel like maybe they was trying to put something in there, but they want you to keep taking the test so that it'll stick, whatever they were trying to put in there. I think if you get the test once or whatever, twice, you be all right. You know what I mean? At least that's what I'm gonna tell myself.
I mean, look.
They just want to make it as annoying as
I
possible.
try not to get it. I try not to get tested as much as I can. I had to get tested the other day. We was at Apple. I had to get tested real quick.
Just to go in Apple, the Apple store,
No, Apple Music.
Apple Music,
Apple Music.
right? And so they want you to come in the building. You got to take the
And
test.
take a test. Right. Hip hop today though. Right? Are you satisfied with where the culture is at today? Are you unhappy with where the culture is at today?
I mean, I'm happy with the amount of money that's available for, you know, young people to get if they know how to responsibly deal with it. It's just, you know, that part of it is good. But nah, I'm not really happy with the overall direction of some of the, you know, way that it's going. Like, you know what I mean? All this murder rap and horror rap and, you know, I mean, we had that, I guess, back in the days, but there still was a balance. You had the conscious groups to balance it out and bring something in there.
A lot more conscious groups.
Where's the only two people they bring up is Kendrick and J. Cole. That's it for this generation.
But again, I feel like society was different back then. The streets was different back then. You had the Nation of Gods and Earth. You had a lot of things that was going on in the street. So hip hop was a reflection of the street at the time. So now you had Brand Nubian, Poor Righteous Teachers, KRS One. You know, you had that.
And this was when the gods were strong on
Right.
the street.
You don't have that in the world now. Like you don't have these organizations. You don't have even.
Well, we
that
still
mindset.
here, but
Right,
unfortunately,
right.
I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the gods on some opportunist shit turned to blood.
Indeed.
When it was time, when that was powerful on the street.
Right.
And went, you know what I mean? Went down that route, and now you don't hear about knowledge so much.
Right. But the music, right? So y'all spoke about knowledge, wisdom, you know, understanding, and it was a lane for that because it was the times were different, right? What stopped that though? What stopped that?
They say it was a concerted effort by the record companies and all of that to specifically focus and support gangster music and get rid of conscious music.
Listen, when you early Tupac, first time we ever heard Tupac.
Mad positive.
Super positive, super enlightened. He was even the first time we ever seen him, same song video, he was dressed in African garb.
All of that.
He changed.
Facts.
Why?
To, you know, I guess to appeal
Was
to
it
a
him
more...
trying to appeal, or was it him really adapting to you know, what he was going through?
I don't know, man. People
Because I'm trying to understand, is it hip hop or is it the person, right? Is it that hip hop is responding and following the society and the things and the trends that's going on in society, or we the ones leading it?
It's always gonna be a little bit of both. It's gonna go back. You know what I mean? Like hip hop's gonna imitate society, and then society imitates hip hop. It's like it's a symbiotic relationship.
Art imitating life,
and life imitates art. And it happens all. You can't tell me that hip hop songs don't affect people. Like don't make motherfuckers do shit. Like I seen Jay-Z made niggas take their jewelry from gold to fucking platinum. Just from his fucking raps and his influence and shit like that. Had niggas go from fucking, damn, I keep, I'm trying. He had dudes going from, you know, football jerseys to button-ups.
It's a fact.
Like, he influenced the culture to do that.
What happened to Brand New Again?
I think we're part of the part of that era of trying to get certain groups out of the picture, you know, by any means necessary. And it was a combination of things with us that, just
started
lessened it. Right.
With the DJ.
Yeah, well, yeah, he was, yeah.
And then y'all was too.
Right.
Why?
Because after the first album, Pooh Bah wanted to do a solo record. You know? And where does that come
was kind of
about?
like the front man.
Yeah, well, he was the OG, you know what I mean?
Right. He had been out already.
He had a group Master Ceremony.
Right, he had been out prior to that.
And it was his energy and connections that even got us the deal and all of that. So we had no problem with him being like the front man or whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Dudes was just happy to be making records and all that.
Right.
But at some point, you know how it goes, man. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if, you know, people were saying something or whatever, but you know, he ended up wanting to do his own thing. And so that was cool. And then we went and did our own. See, they didn't think we was gonna be able to do our shit without.
Don't jump up and get beat down. That's y'all two together. You'll Sadat X.
Yeah, leave me alone, all that type of. So, you know, that just gave us a sink or swim. You know what I mean? And we swam. Right. And then we came back together, you know, a couple albums later with a different kind of respect for each other. And that's, you know, Don't Let It Go to Your Head and all of that.
Don't let it go to your head. Yeah, remember that? Damn, classics. A lot of classics. Man,
so my
classic. So Dot X, is he? Y'all still connect?
Yeah, well, he live in North Carolina now, man. He's, you know,
Out the game.
I mean, he's kind of in the game, but he's a little bit out, you know. Like, he work at a hospital and all this type of, you know.
Wow.
Shit like that. But he's still, you know, still rapping. He still do certain shows with us and all of that. But a lot of times he can't just be moving like that.
Common perception is that a lot of the older acts, because they didn't acquire some of the riches and some of the lifestyle that the artists nowadays have, that they're disgruntled. You feel like you would be disgruntled?
Absolutely not.
Because you in pocket. I see you working.
Yeah, but even if I wasn't, I feel like I would be happy for, you know, these young rappers. I just don't want to see them blow the shit though. Like that's what, you know, what makes you look at them and shake your head when you see dudes just blow through mills and now they broke again.
Right.
And it's just like, come on, bro. Like, if we
you
would
don't
have
have
that, we didn't even have those type of opportunities back then.
What was a deal? What was a nice deal back then, in the 90s, early or late 80s?
Well, let's see. Like a high paying show would be about 20 grand. You know what I mean? Like that's a lot.
That's a lot.
On average,
Right.
5. You know what I mean?
Wow.
10. And it don't matter if you solo or a group.
Right.
So now that's what now
Split it.
makes people not want to be in a group anymore. Keep in mind, some of the best hip hop you ever heard came from groups.
Yep.
But they influenced us to go be solo artists because niggas don't want to, it's more money for you. You got why you want to split your money with those dudes?
But technically, it's not more money for you. If I'm helping you, it's more money for me because now you don't have to split it and I can get more of your percentage. Well, more percentage of your money.
Facts.
Who get more percentage?
The record company.
They wasn't taking
No, I'm saying,
percentage so
let's
much
just
back
say,
then.
but a lot of times.
Oh yeah, well off the record, they wasn't getting 360 deals.
Right, they wasn't getting
Yeah,
your
but a
show
lot of
money,
times
though.
it was.
No, but
it
they
was
was getting-
managers, But if it's less people, it's more. I can get more of the percentage of whatever it is you make because you don't gotta split it in so many ways.
Facts.
What was a record deal like though? What was a nice record deal?
On average, like it would be a budget of about 250,000.
What was an advance?
You know, in the beginning days, I'll tell you what our first advance. Our first advance was like 15,000
To split?
to split.
Wow.
What's
Yeah,
up there?
to split.
Wow.
But when you were young,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean?
Never seen that.
And then you go to the bank and they give
Right.
you 5,000. You
Right.
get on the train with
Right.
5,000 in your
Right.
pocket at
Right.
one time. You feeling like a king.
But before music, you were selling drugs, right?
Yeah, but then things was getting crazy, so I had to stop and work a job like real later in my life. Like for the first time, I got my first job when I was like 18. First job lasted for like 3 days because man, I'm not used to listening to nobody and all, so I quit after 3 days.
Yeah, that's like a whole mindset shift.
Then I had another job that lasted for like 2 weeks. I was too busy though trying to, knock this girl down at work there. So yeah.
I'm still stuck on the record deal. 15,000 was like would that be considered a healthy advance or just like the average?
I mean,
What
that
would be
probably was
considered
average. Like if we came in the game with super managers and but like who was coming in the game like that? It was all about renegotiating things later. Like you just ready to get in the door and then you try to put little things in there to get little bumps and all of that so that if we get to the next one, we could renegotiate this whole thing, blah, blah, blah.
It was never designed to get the artist rich. Because even back then, hip hop still had an image of being rich, big chains, the cars. Like we still saw those images, but nobody was really getting money like that.
No, not really. Not really. I mean, Russell Simmons. You know what I mean? But not even, look, they say Jam Master Jay had to do some shit.
Right.
Which ended up, getting him killed. It's like, why should Jam Master Jay have to do anything other than just be Jam Master Jay?
Right. And I just feel like the game owes, like, when you think about, some of the elder legends who weren't able to sustain a lifestyle. So that's the issue. Like when you hear about some of the guys that's not able to sustain a lifestyle or for entertainment or for some of the music or for being a pioneer, there's no safety for them. There's no
right. And as you get older, people get health problems and all of that type. Like hip hop ain't got no health insurance and benefits and all of that type of stuff. So yeah, you think about these older artists or whatever, but these younger artists, they're not thinking about that. They're going in the club throwing 50,000 in the air. You know what I mean? Like think about an artist from back in the days that, could use that, but you just
Right.
I mean, it's your money. You got the right to do
Right.
what you
Because
want to
that's
do
what they
with it.
saw. Like, even if it wasn't real, that's what they were seeing, I feel. But then these labels have all like these life insurance policies on these same artists. So again, another setup.
And that's some new shit because there was no life insurance
Right.
policies on people back in the days. Like
Right.
life insurance policy, like
That's becoming
standard,
I'm hearing about that more and more.
and that's crazy.
Yeah. Once again, though, a lot. Again, it was new. There was none of these things. Like you didn't think about any of these things because it wasn't presented to you. You know, they just throwing money in your face. You've never seen this amount of money before, so it's kind of like a distraction when you think about it because you're not thinking about the business aspect of it because it's not a business.
Right.
You know, so now you have people who speaking on our elders, but not realizing that their creativity is why you're here.
So everybody, you mean to tell me everybody got done dirty? Rakim, Big Daddy Kane.
I mean, I can't speak on
Everybody.
each particular deal,
Right.
but when nobody getting $1 million to sign for their first deal, you know what I mean?
Right.
Especially your first deal.
First deal.
You know what I mean? Dudes might have got bigger deals down the road once you proved yourself.
Right.
You know what I mean? But when you was first coming in and a label like Cold Chillin', that's not even a major label,
Right,
bro.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So imagine the kind of advances they was getting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, it might have been cool for the times, but it's nothing like, you know, y'all looking at it now like, wow, that was pennies or whatever. And keep in mind, money, you know, 15,000 now. 15,000 back then was the equivalent of
maybe 30.
now, maybe 30, something
Right.
like that.
25, something like that. No, I just think that it's interesting when you hear these stories that, you know, our culture just like we wasn't able to capitalize off everything, off what we created.
Well,
right?
again, the
When you
money
look-
was.
when you look
Why
at-
would the money be there? We wasn't going gold and
right,
platinum yet.
indeed. But when you look at the executives, who were there for the journey, they
Right.
rich.
Yeah,
rich.
I think so.
Most of the executives are rich. The ones that came during and after are rich.
I know the dude that signed us.
What we outsigned to what?
We signed to Elektra.
Electro.
Elektra. Now that's showing your age right there. You even know what that is.
I'm like, that's ring a bell.
But Elektra. But man, we had Pete Rock and CL Smooth was on Elektra. Busta and them was on Elektra. Leaders of the New School.
That's right.
A lot of people was on Elektra. Lords of the Underground, whole bunch, you know.
Oh wow. Damn.
Yeah, few people was on that joint. Diggable Planets, but see, by the time Diggable Planets, because they ended up going platinum and all of that, so now there was a little more money in the game.
Became
Not on Elektra.
not on-
Well, no, he
Yeah.
did solo,
Right.
but not the group.
Not the group. He
Yeah,
became
but
a
solo,
a
yeah.
superstar.
Yeah, yes, he did at Elektra.
Yeah, Busta became a superstar. You know.
And so his renegotiation,
Right.
even when he first went solo, I bet you his first solo deal was nothing like when he renegotiated after the blow up.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's how it was back in the day.
And then it leaves no doorway, right? So then after it's like the game then kind of
Now
took from
what?
you and throw you away, right? So do we want to hear a new Grand Puma music record? That's kind of like, is the game receptive to that? No, it's not. After so
I
much
mean,
was
the
given.
new school game is not. I mean, you know, like these young audiences wouldn't even know who Grand Poobah is. You know what I mean? It would be up to the people of that era to support the ones of that era that come out. If you still claim, oh, I love, you know, real hip hop and da 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 da, and then you got people from that era that's putting something out and it's quality, Because I don't tell people to mess with something just because.
Right.
Like, I hate when people try to make conscious music just because. Like, I'm like, man, that shit got to be just as good as the negative music, or else it's not going to be effective. You know what I mean? So don't tell me you make conscious music. Is it hot?
Is it hot?
You know what I mean? So don't tell me you an older rapper, but you whack now. Because plenty of people, their sword is not sharp no more. They get whack when they get older. It's, you know, and they don't have that swag like they used to. But some people
still got it.
Some people still got
Are
it.
you?
Absolutely.
I'm not from that era.
You're like, why are you putting
So
me
wait,
there?
is it?
I thought you were talking to me.
Hold on. Just dropped the top 40 record. What
Okay.
you talking about?
Okay.
I'm not from back in the days. I'm not, yeah. What are you talking about? Right now.
But you're not one of these
Timeless.
dudes. You're
I'm
not one of
from
these
that.
young
We
boys
talking
either,
about,
though.
right, but I come in an era that we had a lot more advantages. Meaning, the game was different by the time I get here.
Yes.
In the 2000s, right? You know, it's a lot more opportunity. It's a lot more money. And because the culture is older, it gives us the opportunity to last longer, right? So me and Jim could team up and do the Lobby Boys and have success and have a top 40 urban record,
Which is
right
super
now,
smart
which is
for
super
y'all to
crazy.
do, man.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
So, you know, I don't think that the generation, you know, from the 80s and 90s had that. Because the career, right? So let's think about Big Daddy Kane's reign. He probably reigned for like 5 years, 6 years. That was it.
That's the average range.
Right. Now, you see an artist, you know, when you think of like a Fabulous, he's been able to
Mad years.
last.
Yeah.
But we also have this thing. I can't recall in that era where artists collabed with other artists so much. Like right now, we're collabing. The older artists are collabing with the younger artists. It's kind of like a fusion, so it makes it a little easier. It makes it a little better. You didn't see that back then.
Right, but it's just more opportunities now, though. It's just the game is more opportunities. Like for instance, we can do business in other areas, right? We can have a show on TV on Fox Soul, right? We can have book deals. We could have trucking business. We could have so many other things going on, in different components, and still be an artist.
Right.
You can still be an artist. I think the game back then, it was like you had to just be an artist, right? Because people only respected you for that. As soon as you put that silk shirt on, we was like, oh, you sold out. As soon as we seen Kane with Madonna, we was like, oh man, he ain't the same. And then turn around years later, everybody doing stuff like that with a Madonna or white artists, or you know, putting different type of clothes on and stuff like that. So I just think that the culture was so new and it was still developing, and us as a people, you know, we didn't it wasn't there yet. It wasn't there yet.
Facts.
It wasn't there yet.
Because again, they didn't believe in the culture. This was something that wasn't supposed to last. It's only now they're throwing all this money at it because it's like, all right, you're not going away. Actually, I see that this is the top performing music out of all music. Fuck it. Let me just, now I'm going to have all of these corporate sponsorships and all of that. Like, where could we really get the money from outside of music at that time?
It wasn't there.
Other than, you know, even the you know, making your own gear, that was new. Like Wu-Tang and all of that, like, was the precursor to the Rockefellers and all of that type of stuff. But before that, nobody thought of Brand Nubian wear or something like that. Like, nobody how do you even get into, you know what I mean? Like, now these avenues exist, so it's like if you want to get into something, there's somebody probably already in that space that you can go talk to and help you.
They have
you know what I mean?
Now you got departments, and now you got these different doorways, right? So now you wanna do something in the you know, clothing area. You get somebody to talk to.
You
Back
talk
then,
to
you didn't have
Yeezy
nobody,
or, you know,
nobody to talk to.
Nobody to talk to.
Well, thank you so much for coming. We really, really
Appreciate
this
you, my dog.
conversation.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
My guy don't be playing. He be talking, what? This is bull. I'm telling you, this is hip hop. You already know what it is. It is hip hop. It is Fox Soul. It is Kitchen Talk. It is Real Talk. It is Shalimar, your boy Maino, and your girl, that girl Georgie, aka
Your favorite time.
Free Ricky to the Free Ricky, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
you, man.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
No doubt.